Here's how to make a ruffle on your sewing machine, but also by hand. After threading your machine, you're going to make sure it's on a straight stitch, and then you're going to just check to make sure that your tension is at a normal setting. And then you are going to change your stitch length to the highest setting it will go to. Most machines, this is around a 5. You are then going to do 2 rows of stitching on the edge of the fabric right next to each other. This is called a basting stitch. When you're doing basting stitches, you want to make sure that you don't use your backstitch button or the thread will not pull correctly. I usually use the edge of my presser foot as my guide with the edge of the fabric, and you are just going to stitch like normal all the way down to the other end of your strip of fabric. It's also important here that you leave a long tail of thread. And again, at the end, no backstitch and leave that long tail of thread. Then you're going to resaddle the pony, put your fabric back on, and now you are going to do another line of stitching just like the previous one right next to the line that you just completed. So here is what we are currently working with. So we got those 2 lines of stitches, really loose stitching. You're going to find one end, it doesn't matter which one you go with, and those 2 long extra threads, you are going to take them apart and you are just going to tie a knot on both sections. So both rows of stitching, you are going to tie the threads into a knot, and that will stabilize these, so as we're making the gathers, they're not just sliding right out of the fabric. Once you have that, you are then going to go to the opposite end of your fabric and you're going to find your other 2 rows of stitching. You're going to start with whichever one you want, and you are going to separate those strands just like we did before, and you're going to grab only the top thread. You're going to grab that thread, let the bottom one hang loose, and you're going to start to tug. You have to be very gentle when you do this because the thread has a tendency to snap. So you're just slightly gliding the thread and then spreading it out to create your ruffle. The 2 rows of stitching have a few different reasons. Number 1, it helps the fabric not fray. It also works as a backup safety stitch if you accidentally pop your first thread. And then it also really helps you get your ruffle evenly displaced. Once you have your ruffle mostly adjusted, you are then going to find your second row of stitching. You're going to grab the top thread on that. And as you start to tug this one, you're going to watch how much better the ruffle is going to place. It's just going to look flatter, it's going to look more even. This is exactly what you want it to do. This also makes it a little bit easier to stitch because the ruffle itself sits a little bit flatter. Once you have that, you're again going to tie those extra threads into a knot to secure your ruffle in place. And there you have it, a perfect ruffle that is either as is or ready to be sewn onto a garment. Let me know what you want to see next.